What is faux poly and should you avoid it? This is Matie Fricker from selfservetoys.com, Hunter Riley who works at Self-Serve and also has Hunter Riley sexeducation.com,
Yep.
and I'm Cathy Bartoli from TheIntimacyDojo.com. And we were talking at dinner last night, and Matie has coined a term, faux poly.
Or faux-pen. You're in a faux-pen relationship where you feel like you're open, you identify as being open, but it's not at all open.
And can you spell it for it? Because I was spelling it wrong.
Fauxpen. Faux-pen.
Yeah.
You know?
Like faux leather or something.
Yeah, like faux leather. Like definitely not leather, definitely not open.
But we're pretending it is.
Yeah, and it looks like that from the outside. Mm-hmm. Maybe it feels like that sometimes.
The agreements might be that.
The agreements are that. I was in a faux-pen relationship where, we walked into the relationship saying that we would have an elasticity clause and like we'd be monogamous and we'd start out that way. But then when we were ready, we would open up.
Yeah.
And 6 years later, we tried to do that, and it was like a nightmare. It was really hard. It was like we wanted it to be the truth, but we didn't know how to make it happen. And every time either of us actually made a move towards that step, things would blow up, and it just wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah.
But if anybody asked, I was open.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people like this.
Like that. Yeah. Every time we went to date, his partner would be sick, or they just moved, or let's do it later, and it just never. It was nominally open, but not really.
Yeah, and like lots of veto power happening, and lots of control. But we're totally open. It's just not the right situation right now.
Yeah.
Right. And it's really painful when you're in that space because you also have shame because you identify as a certain thing and a certain way, and you want to move through the world a certain way, and you can't.
Yeah.
And
invisible shackles.
Yeah. So it caused a lot of shame to be in a faux-pen relationship for me.
Yeah.
And when I started talking to people about it, they said, "Oh my God, me too."
Yeah.
And I think that places where we have shame are places I want to reach towards.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think. Being able to like recognize that is hard, right? Because if this is one of your goals is to have this kind of relationship and you feel like you do, and then you kind of feel like you don't sometimes too, or maybe you feel like you don't a lot of the time, it can be confusing. It can kind of it feels disorienting, at least, for me when that's been my situation where I'm like, okay, well, I think we have this, or maybe like we kind of have this on some days and then some days we don't. And it's not consistent, right? So it leaves you feeling a little bit insecure about like, I don't know what kind of relationship I'm in.
Yeah.
And, when it works out great, awesome. But then when it's challenging, I don't feel like I have that sort of support and that consistency that I need to know that, okay, this is challenging, I'm going to dig in and work through, as opposed to this is challenging, I'm throwing my hands up and walking away.
Yeah.
So having that inconsistency can be kind of scary, I think.
Yeah, and we do, I think it's important to support our partners if they're having a really bad day and they're like, I really am not up to you going on a date tonight.
Right.
Like there's times when that's okay. Like we can have that agreement.
Yeah.
But it can't be like months and years of that where it's just a struggle to live within the agreements.
Right.
Where it starts getting really sticky to get actually what you agreed to.
Right. Well, and sometimes just being brave is like being like, all right, like, maybe this time I am going to do this thing, and my partner might be having a hard time with it. And you know what? I can support them, before and after, and do the things that I need to do that we've agreed upon are good to do to help them feel secure. And sometimes it's,
we get
being brave.
Or maybe that's like serious incompatibility.
Right.
And that's the other thing is sometimes I think people, when they love each other, they're excited about each other, when they're in a new relationship, we say yes to things that maybe are not in line with our truest best selves. We're like, I just like you so much, of course. I do my laundry 3 times a week, of course. And then like 3 years in, you're like,
I don't.
There's like a mountain of laundry.
Yeah.
Like, and they don't know, and I can't let them over to my house anymore. It becomes this huge thing, when in actuality, it doesn't need to be.
Right.
We can also be protecting our partner, like from disappointment. Maybe we're not willing to face their disappointment. And that may not be their fault. That might be something we need to look at for ourselves, because adults are disappointed sometimes. And it's okay to let them have their emotions about things and just be, so it's not just necessarily, oh, you're never letting me date. It might be that, oh, I'm not letting you have your feelings about this. So something to consider. We're going to do another video on how to do poly right, quote unquote.
And poly shame. There's a lot of like, what is the right, are you poly enough? Are you pollier than thou? So we're going to do that one next.
Yeah. So show up for the next video and leave your comments below.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Congratulations on taking this time for yourself and learning these things. If you'd like to follow more of this, you can subscribe to my channel here. Social media is up here, and there's more videos of this type here. See you soon.